Yo, you're watching Shurkou, and today we are finally back with some more Pokémon Unite. Now in this video, I'll be giving you my full thoughts on this game so far after having played for around 2 days in the open beta on the Nintendo Switch. Now keep in mind, it's not going to be a full review of the game since, again, I was only able to play for around 20 hours probably in total. So that is of course not enough to judge the game completely yet, but I think I can give you a very educated opinion, especially comparing it to other MOBAs that I have played so much over the last couple years. So let's get right into it. As you can see, I will also show you some Pikachu gameplay in the background, which I will be referencing throughout the video when I'm talking about the different skills you can pick, about the gameplay, about, you know, the no tower mechanics. Instead you dunk these Pokeballs into the hoops. It is absolutely wild, but yeah. And keep in mind, I will also try to represent both points, because believe it or not, the mobile MOBA community, or the MOBA community in general, is very split in their opinion about this game. Some people are super excited, just like I am, okay? But again, this is not going to be just a simp video. I would love to make one, but it's not just going to be me simping the game. Because that is, you know, that's going to be too biased. I also want to talk about the opinions that the skeptics of this game have. Lots of people are very skeptical, are critiquing the game a lot, because at the end of the day, it is a very dumbed down and easy version of a MOBA. There's no towers, there's no gold, there's no items, right? So where's the progression? Is it just a Brawl Stars, but a little bit more difficult at the end of the day? And honestly, people are saying that, and I think it's fair. I think this is closer to Brawl Stars than it is to Wild Rift, for sure. There's no wave management, there's no... I mean, Wild Rift is a tier of its own in terms of difficulty. Again, wave management already adds so much more depth than every other mobile MOBA has. But yeah, I still think this is amazing. And I think it is very masterfully adding depth where people don't really expect it. And I'm going to be talking about all of these things. But first of all, as you can see, we are Pikachu here. We're laning with Eldegoss here, which is a support. I'm Pikachu. I can be played as a assassin, single target damage focused, or I can also go for the AoE mage playstyle, believe it or not. Again, this is where they add depth. As you can see on your screen right now, I can choose between 2 different abilities for my R move. I decided to pick the Electro Ball. So I already used it there. It throws a ball onto the enemy that is targeted. So it is just a click point target skill basically, but it deals damage in an AoE around that target as well, instead of just to the target. But it is still a very single target focused ability. Then as my second move, I still have the Electro Web, which just throws that web onto the enemy and stuns them. Now, because we are just completely stomping them, my teammate is doing a very good job, we are able to already dunk in some of these Pokeballs that we are collecting from these neutral Pokemon, which again, it's not really gonna be like farming gold, like farming items, because this is at the end still much simpler. You're just killing these, you're not killing them, you're fainting them. They just go to sleep, don't worry guys. No one's getting killed, okay? This is a wholesome game. You just collect these Pokeballs, right? And then you can dunk them in. There's really not that much, not a lot of rocket science to that, right? It is very obvious to everybody right at the start, which is a good thing. Because the casuals, I think this will have a much bigger casual audience, because especially the Pokemon IP is already gonna draw a lot of players to the game that aren't really MOBA players, which again is very important in my opinion. But that doesn't matter for the critique point of view, because again, if you are skeptical of this game, if you like a more hardcore mobile MOBA experience, it doesn't matter to you if there's going to be more normies playing, you know, you don't really care about that. So again, I'm not going to argue from that point of view. By the way, while I was rambling about that, you saw that I was able to choose another skill, which is Volt Tackle. I decided to pick Volt Tackle. I could have instead picked an AoE stun, but what the Volt Tackle does is again point click, targeted onto the enemy, jumps to them, knocks them into the air, briefly stunning them, dealing a very decent amount of damage to them, and then it also jumps back. So this is where the depth comes in. I could have gone for a long-range AoE stun, which is pretty difficult to hit. Now you might imagine, you might think, again, if you're looking at it from a critiques point of view, which I partly agree with, is that in other MOBAs, you can also just level up your abilities. So you also, in different orders, right? So for example, let's take a look at Akali from Wild Rift from League of Legends. Most of them are gonna level up the first ability, but you could level up the Shuriken first, which is dumb, you shouldn't do it, but you could, right? So no one does it, so it doesn't really add more depth by being able to level up different abilities first, right? That is true. For most part, you will have these cookie cutter builds, and I feel like a lot of the critics or a lot of the critique at this game is that at the end of the day, everyone will probably take the same skills every single game, because some of them are just going to be stronger options than the other ones. Keep in mind, I think since the skills really transform the gameplay completely, I really think, at least for Pikachu, my most played Pokemon so far during those 2 days of the open beta, I really feel like I had multiple situations where I was like, I probably should have taken the AoE stun instead of Volt Tackle here. Let's say you're playing against a lot of tanky units, right? That don't really have a lot of mobility. It's going to be pretty easy to hit that AoE stun, and the Volt Tackle is not going to be that useful then if you can only CC one of them briefly. But if you're playing against a lot of assassins, you can imagine, ooh, you really want the Volt Tackle, because not only is it going to be super easy to hit, you will also jump away from them afterwards, putting you into safety. Same for the Electro Ball. You have, instead of Electro Ball, you can take a long-range AoE Thunder, which is basically just an AoE lingering DPS AoE magic damage, you know, like most mages have in other MOBAs. It's basically just gonna make thunder strikes rain from the sky onto the enemies, and yeah. Now imagine if you take the thunder and that other AoE stun, you have no mobility, you can't jump onto anybody, and you have a huge load of AoE damage from long range, so you're basically a mage, right? So you can switch freely from an assassin playstyle and a mage playstyle, or you can even mix and match. Maybe you want the thunder AoE damage to shut down the enemy marksman, but you're also playing against 2 assassins. So you want the safety of the Volt Tackle. So you can really mix and match these abilities, and I have seen gameplays of like people really taking different abilities all the time. Some people prefer that, some people prefer that. So it really adds a deceptive amount of depth, and I think that is what's going to keep the hardcore players playing this game for longer times. Again, I can't judge that yet though, because I have merely scratched the surface. Now there is lots of other neutral objectives, like this Rotom, like the Zapdos that spawns at 2 minutes into the game, and they also add, I wouldn't say they add a lot of depth, because at the end of the day, does a dragon in League of Legends add a lot of depth? I mean, you know, it's one of the simpler things in these games, because you know it's gonna spawn at a certain time and you're gonna have to group up for it. But still, most people, and I'm sure you guys know that, most people manage to mess these things up as well. So it's still gonna be one more thing to think about. And there's really lots of these things. There's the Rotom at the top lane, there's the, I don't know what it's called, but it's a turtle at the bottom, and there's the Zapdos. And something that I haven't touched upon yet, which is really, really important, and one of the best qualities of this game, as you can see, there's a timer in the middle of the screen at the top, running down, not running up. It's running down from 10 minutes. Every game is exactly 10 minutes. There's nothing more, nothing less. It's always going to be 10 minutes. So again, while this is, of course, much simpler than a game where you can really have like 30 minutes rounds, which a lot of people, you know, sometimes they're annoying if you're just taking a fat L, but if you have that really close late game battle, it is so satisfying to win, and you're so happy after that happens in other MOBA. This one is trying to go for a more casual approach, and it really wants people to exactly know when they can play a game or not. So let's say you're in your lunch break, you have 15 minutes remaining, you know you're going to be able to queue up, you're going to be able to play the full game, and then you're going to be able to look at the match, to maybe look at the match history, look at maybe if you unlock the new skin and stuff, and you will be able to return to work perfectly in time. There's no chance that it can drag on for 20 minutes, for 30 minutes. So that is really, really good. And at the last 2 minutes, they also have this hype mechanic, which again, lots of people who are a little bit more in depth with this game are critiquing that. It is exactly that Zapdos, because as you saw, we are winning hard so far in this game. But now the enemies, because they were able to destroy us in the late game here and get that Zapdos, now they have all maxed out Pokeballs on 50 pretty much, and they can just dunk without any timer. Luckily, this guy is completely brain dead, this Machamp, and is not dunking. So we're lucky. Otherwise, he would have secured his team not only 50 points, but because it's doubled in the last 2 minutes, again to create more hype at the ending, he would have just dunked 100 points into us, and we would have taken a fat L probably, okay? So, because you see, the point system makes for really close games quite often. You know, it really doesn't feel like you're getting completely stumped. Like, when you're getting stumped in another MOBA, it feels so bad, right? But in this one, it doesn't feel that bad, because you know you can always come back with that Zapdos, and you can also... You're not really behind in items, you're not just getting one-tapped, you know, you're maybe behind in levels a little bit, but you're not just getting completely destroyed by the enemies. As you saw, we barely won in the end. It was kind of close, you know. So yeah, I got the MVP, very nicely done, you know. The Pokemon Master Genius is what they will call me in this game. But yeah, that is pretty much it for all the thoughts. As you saw, it was a little bit of a rambling, because I can't contain all the thoughts in a 10-minute gameplay here of this game, and I don't want to make this video too long. I still have some stuff that I will show you here at the end, because I'll show you some of the cosmetics, so I can still talk a little bit more about the cosmetics, about the out-of-game stuff. Like, as you see here, you have not only skins for your Pokemon, but you also have skins for your character, which you could pick at the start. I took a waifu, man, you know me. But yeah, you can customize her. It looks super cute. You can of course also take a male character if you're not a loser like me. And yeah, you can see, man, she's dripped out. She's dripped out the wazoo. And these things are pretty easily unlockable. And I'm gonna show you something, because maybe you missed that. Like, whenever you're dunking right here, or whenever you get some Pokeballs, let me show you. Right here, as soon as I get a Pokeball, my character actually shows up at the bottom of the screen. So I always thought it is just... Oh, I didn't finish it, man. Come on, Pikachu, farm something. There you go, farm that. Farm it, bro. Yes. Okay, you'll see. The character actually shows up. See? She showed up right there. You saw it? She showed up right next to my camera. See? So the customization, I thought it's only gonna be outside of the lobby and stuff like that, but it's actually not. It's also in-game. So I really think they solved this very smartly, and again, there is always trainers in Pokemon, so it really makes sense to have this little system here. I'm a really big fan of it. I think it just adds more ways for the game to make money in a wholesome way, because it's just cosmetics. It just looks cooler, and it gives more options to people, and for the people who don't care about it, they don't have to bother with it, you know? So I think I'm a huge fan of this as well. But yeah, as you saw, I was really trying to break down the game from both sides. I know it wasn't like the most coherent thing here. I probably missed a lot of points. I was actually trying to record this video multiple times because it's just hard, you know? Like I like to keep my videos unedited, to have it like be very authentic and stuff like that. So it's just really hard to put all coherent thoughts in a exactly 10-minute video. I'm gonna pause it here. But yeah, I'm really hyped. Let me know what you guys think. I also want this to be an open discussion. What do you think about the critique that I addressed during that video? Do you think they are adding enough depth to the game or not? And yeah, with that being said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure to subscribe, ring the notification bell, because we have many more Pokemon Unite videos coming out before the game releases, because I recorded so much footage during the open beta test that I played. So we will pretty much have a daily video popping out every single day on this channel. And yeah, again, let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. If you have no thoughts, just leave an algorithmic comment to support the channel, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.